guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G. sucks.
T.A.G. very nice, very evil.
T.A.G's gonna kill you.
That's T.A.G. shit.
Whose house? T.A.G's house, baby.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really.
What it is, what it was, and what it do. Do not avert your eyes. I know we didn't give you content last week. We're sorry. You know, just live with it, deal with it, accept us, and just continue to keep loving us. Because we will soon be your favorite wrestling podcast here at Tag Me In, aka TMI. And who am I? I am the disembodied voice of one big ScooterRay. And the gentleman to my left, he is your current reigning, defending, technical predictions champ, Lil Dizzle.
Right.
The beautiful human being who just sat down is your current predictions champ, the heartthrob in this, Jaeger Bombastic, so fantastic. And lower left, the young OG, the youngest in charge himself, Leo, aka Kicking It With Leo. Gentlemen, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling?
Oh, feeling good, feeling great, sir.
I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
I'm not mad enough, man. Ain't nothing pissed me off in the past. Well, no, let me now this that did, but I'm not mad enough to rant today. But some stuff did piss me off over the past few weeks.
I would say Lip Dizzle is a little bit of generous because I got some things that are definitely confusing. Which we'll talk about once we get to WWE because we got a certain Mr. Yeet Man that we gotta.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not mad at.
We gotta talk, sir.
Addressing that, but normally we would discuss WWE then AEW, but we're gonna flip it because AEW was in Sugarland, you know, by the way of Houston, Texas last night, and the man who just keep disappearing, Jaeger Bombastic, was in attendance.
That was me.
So, Jaeger, how was the atmosphere at Dynamite last night?
I gotta admit, man, I've been to just about every show that's come to Houston, aka Sugarland, wherever. But this one, it might have just been because of the Performance Center, because it does it a lot like Daly's Place in Florida. It's just not open.
Yeah.
And I was at the bottom floor, so I didn't get to hear all the noise from the top. But it felt a little quiet, man.
Oh no. Oh,
yeah.
And then look, the whole time I was watching the show, I was like, I was increasingly getting more and more frustrated because I was like, word, y'all gonna do all of that? Word, all of that, word.
Because you weren't here.
like more and more. And then like some of the people who was coming out, I was like, oh word, that's what we really doing? So I was like, all right, y'all got it. I was like, y'all got it. But the big thing that came out of that was at Forbidden Door, we're going to get a 12-man steel cage match. And if Briscoe's team wins, Briscoe gets a shot. So this week, they each chose their teams to represent, you know, and then it was going to be a 12-man tag. Well, we found out that, of course, MJF, who seemingly just has just like unlimited currency, paid Don Callis. And
Champ has to be making money, bro.
Right? And his team consists of Andrade El Idolo, begrudgingly. Jake Doyle.
Yeah, we popped for Andrade. I get it.
Jake Doyle, TNT champ Kevin Knight, Okada, and Kyle Fletcher. That would be represent. Thank you, Loki.
You accomplished it, man, huh?
The Don Callis of it that would be representing MJF's team, and then right before kind of the match started, we got Mark Briscoe's team because you know Fletcher, well, Proto Okada beat up Tomohiro Ishii, so he was out. Which I mean, I don't think nobody was truly mad at that one, if we're being honest. But
I mean,
Briscoe-
hey man, he's a legend. You got to give him the props.
I
but
said what I said.
rude. Rude.
Right before the match started, Briscoe revealed, of course, his conglomeration mates of Orange Cassidy, Roddy Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly, and Konosuke Takeshita and Darby Allin is MJF, is Mark Briscoe's team. And when they had the 12-man tag, if anybody got disqualified, they would be kicked off the team, but nobody did. As MJF called it, the DC MJF team won. So, but with that being said, gentlemen, how do y'all feel about this 12-man cage match?
This is the same team that's going into the pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
And it's stupid that they had this match on TV.
Yes.
It was just minus a cage.
It was minus a cage.
Watching this match, I don't know. It's like, why would you give that away on free TV if you're building it for the pay-per-view? Now you're just making it seem like, why am I getting invested in a match we're already seeing? So it's like,
Leah.
I agree with you there.
Pay-per-view that's next week.
Exactly. Like,
to be fair,
if this was a month away, I guess. But literally next weekend, are we serious? In a weekend full of wrestling, mind you, we're
4 shows
already.
next weekend.
Oh, brother. Good God almighty, bro.
I mean, to be fair, Takeshita and God damn it, why am I blanking already? We're
Takeshita and Darby.
Yeah, Takeshita and Darby were unknowns until like right before the match. So we were over here for like the whole hour and 45 minutes wondering who the hell the last two were going to be. So I guess it was a way to reveal who the teams were going to actually end up being. But I do agree that, we're just 10 days away from finding out like who everybody was. We could have just done like a 4v4 and kept the last two spots a mystery, including Andrade being like in there, because Andrade was caught heavily off guard by the looks of it.
Yeah, because if you look at the footage, Trent Beretta thought he was going to be the name called, and then he said Andrade, and Andrade was like, "The fuck you mean?" I don't like him.
Andrade said, "I don't want to be here."
No, he did not.
And that's part of the issue, because you rushed this in one night when you could have had 2 weeks of like story build with the Andrade, with the Darby, with all this stuff.
Yeah,
you had team animosity. You could have stacked a whole bunch of that to build to that match. Now you've already had a team win, which if we talk about 50-50 booking here, that means that the faces would probably go over during the pay-per-view if you had the heels go over on this one. So it's just like you're practically
the only reason.
Now, granted, the heels could win at the pay-per-view, but even then, now you just really make the faces look even worse if they do lose twice in a row to the same team. So it's just bad all around. So,
and that's the problem though. Like with AEW, it's like they don't allow certain storylines to take shape organically. It's like you rush it because like, oh, I got this pay-per-view come up. Let me get a few going. Like I've seen it numerous times where it's like they'll have a pay-per-view coming up literally the next week and have not even half the matches even filled up for the card. And it's like now it's just coming out of nowhere. It's like, what is this match even for? It's like, how much to get invested in a match with a weak build? Like, aren't you supposed to, and you don't even have as many pay-per-views as like WWE like that. So it's like, why can't you just take at least a whole month to build up a feud from point A to point B to point C? So coming into the pay-per-view, it's like, oh, I'm excited for this match. I'm excited for this match. But it's like, we know we're going to get good wrestling, but I don't want to just have good wrestling. I want to have good stories as well as good wrestling as well. So
now I agree with you on that. At the same time, though, the individual characters involved in these teams have a pretty developed story. I mean, Andrade with the rest of the Don Callis family, Mark Briscoe and MJF. It feels like a bunch of
Darby, and Proto Kata.
Exactly. So there's a good amount of singular stories. It looks like all converging on like one point. I agree that they should have maybe like taken this to build it in a better way, though.
Yeah, because the only thing you're building is like maybe Andrade turning face at some point. Because I've been seeing like glimpses, like I'm thinking like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna turn face. And if he does, I think might be a hot take. I would love to see potentially him being the one to dethrone MJF for the world title.
They're building it up enough. They should have something like that.
It's not going to be him, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
I will 100% agree with you, but we all know who getting that belt.
Yeah,
at Wembley. You know, they didn't hammered it so much, and they even hammered it more last night.
Absolutely, last night.
I'm gonna just put the card up here. But as I mean, the finals for the men's Owen Hart is Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. And pretty much they was talking and they was like, hey, I thought we were cool. You know, I've been seeing you, Swerve, telling Ospreay, you know what I'm saying, you've been running with the Death Riders and things, you know, what's up with that? Ospreay was like, yeah, you ain't come out and help me with certain things. So it's like, so what's up? You know, and the only issue I have with this, I feel like they're trying to manufacture a beef between these two.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like yes, Swerve has a change of attitude. Yes, Ospreay has been working with the Death Riders, but it's like it didn't feel like a reason to just go out there and make it seem like, we used to be homies, now we enemies kind of thing. And it's like, I guess, but
even with the promo they cut, it still felt like this was like a just business match.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't feel personal. It didn't feel like, something that really just sets it over the edge. Like, we know, they've been alliances in the past, but it's like, I feel like the match is going to be good. Like, let's be real. But
Absolutely.
it kind of feels forced. It feels forced a little bit. Like, it's forced to be this match. And it's like the only story that you could pretty much tell going into it's like, the fact that Will Ospreay's never been Swerve Strickland. That's the story.
Yeah.
Can Will Ospreay beat, Swerve to get to the next level? Can he beat the one guy that's probably had his number a couple of times in his career? So that's the only story you really have going into this.
Which is what they're pretty much riding on it, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Dizzle, you got anything to add?
I mean, Forbidden Door is at this point treated like how Backlash is treated for WWE, and it shouldn't be, because it's your chance to, for lack of a better term, open the Forbidden Door to other promotions that you would be partnered with. And the way that they treat this is, okay, hey, we got the toy box open. Let me just go ahead and take a few. Oh, you know what? Let's see if these two work together. Before, they used to build, it used to make a lot more sense. Right now, at this point, and to Leo's point, it does feel throwaway, especially when you talk about Omega and Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
That match, it's like, hey, yeah, we got two good people. We got a good technical. We got a good overall wrestler. Let's just go ahead and let's see what this does. And then even with the whole faction, the whole faction aspect of it doesn't make sense either. It's just like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah,
it's really just fucking whatever.
Like Kenny Omega took on Bad Dude Tito last weekend, and then it was like, oh, here comes TMDK. Oh, here comes the Elite, and it's like, okay.
And that's the thing. When I watch Forbidden Door, it's like sometimes, especially like in the last couple of years, it's like, I feel like, do they even realize like, sometimes I feel like they forget that it's supposed to be AEW versus these other promotions, and they feel like, it's like the last minute, let's put some of these other people from other promotions on the show. And Lip Dizzle's point, you said Backlash, just starting to tread water to come like Backlash. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say Backlash. This right here, if the way this is starting to come out to me, we're starting to get into waters of back in 2010 when we had bragging rights for WWE. Remember that was a thing? This is what started to come out to me. We're starting to enter bragging rights territory with this. Remember that? Remember it was like Nexus versus like Team WWE or something like that at Backlash or something like this. This is what I'm starting to get right here with Forbidden Door. Because after I seen it a couple years ago, I'm like, am I watching Forbidden Door or this version of this generation's version of bragging rights?
Well, you know what? Okay, so put a pin in that, because we're gonna get to that in the bridge in between. All right, so far with Forbidden Door, like I mentioned, MJF and the DCF versus the conglomeration, Takeshita and Allen. You're gonna have Kenny O taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Swerve taking on Ospreay to determine who's going to be the winner of the men's side. They had just announced that Tekla is going to take on Stardom's. I totally
Starlight
forgot his
Kid.
name. Thank you, Starlight Kid, because since Tekla wants to bring death to Stardom. Then, as announced last night, Cage and Cope are going to take on the Dogs, and then Moxley is going to take on Bandito because of what happened last night as well. And then
That was a great tag match, though.
It was. And then the bridge is, as we know, Mercedes Moné is on one half, and we got to see who's going to be the winner out of Athena and Maya World. And then we will know on the women's side who's going to go to Forbidden Door. Now, to pull the pin, this gentleman right here, Yoda Tsuji, he pretty much kind of was like, "Hey yo, fam, why we still working with this company?" Kind of energy. He was like, hold on, let me look up the exact comments, but he pretty much was like, "I don't like AEW. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to lose to them. I feel like we should just pretty much end this relationship."
He's saying it. I didn't.
And hold on, and I'm gonna give you his exact quotes. Well, I don't want to lose to AEW. I don't like AEW. And all honesty, with the relationship between us the way it is, I like us to cut ties with them. Then he goes on to say, what has been with AEW done for NJPW really? If it was an even-handed relationship, that's one thing, but it's not. There's certainly a difference in terms of money behind each company, but I don't see that as a reason to be so weak-willed. This is NJPW, damn it. Hold on. This is NJPW, damn it. Now, on the other hand, Okada has played a part in selling the Tokyo Dome out. I have to admit to that. I'm sure that it isn't an NJPW wrestler facing Tanahashi in his last match, but there isn't anybody on the roster that has connections to Tanahashi that Okada has, and I have to acknowledge that. So those were other comments, but all right, gentlemen, react.
Look, man. No, I gotta admit that he's not wrong in this. Like when we have Forbidden Door, it's always been the AEW star that goes over the New Japan star. And that's a little disappointing. I'd like to see it get mixed up, but at the same time, HBO doesn't want to feature New Japan stuff. Maybe, I don't know if they don't have a partnership like that or what, but and even the announce team has treated the announcements of New Japan Progress as an aside. And I'll be the first one to say it as far as feedback goes, that's just not, it hasn't been great. Like, there's been the excuse of, it's been Kenny Omega going as a New Japan star or this or that. But as this progresses and we keep having this pay-per-view on the freaking schedule for the year, we need to see things get mixed up better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because man, that's the one thing I will say about Forbidden Door. Do they produce great matches? Absolutely. But the thing is, there's no stakes. A lot of the matches feel like throwaway. If anything, they don't feel like it's an actual story going into it. And a lot of times, like you said, when it comes to Forbidden Door, AEW always goes over New Japan. New Japan doesn't really stand a chance. A lot of times when they're facing a current champion, it will be a big deal if a New Japan wrestler beats an AEW wrestler. But they don't do that. They don't take risks. They play it safe, which is why it kind of diminishes the mystique and importance of Forbidden Door.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's really not seen as the way it was, like how we talked about. Like, I mean, literally, we had Double or Nothing. Now it's like, oh shit, Forbidden Door. Yeah, it's a crossover between all these promotions. Okay. And then it's like, Kenny Omega and Zack Sabre Jr. Okay. Like, it did is like, Tekla wants to kill Stardom, so Starlight Kid.
It's a
so once
predictable.
again, Okay.
Like, even if Zack Sabre Jr. goes over against Kenny, which at this point I'm still like 50-50 on, because they haven't progressed any kind of real story in front of our eyes. But we know that Tech was going to go over against Starlight Kid. Like, I don't know. Like, the matches that we get, we already know who the winner is going to be for the most part.
It's a predictable show. That's why I don't really seem all as invested, because like I can look at the entire card and like know who's winning. Mox is beating Bandito. Let's be fair. He's their golden boy. He's the Roman Reigns of AEW. You think they're gonna have him lose a match to Bandito? Thekla ain't losing either.
Unfortunately,
She is not losing. The only match you could probably say there could be go 50-50 is Kenny and Zack Sabre Jr. That's it. Everything else is predictable as it gets. And I understand his frustration for not wanting to work with New Japan, because why would you want your world champion of your show to look weak by going to AEW in front of a big audience and lose?
Yep.
Then it just makes your champion look weak, and it's like, okay, why am I supposed to get invested into him as a world champion? That's not how you book your world champion, mind you. You're supposed to book them in a way where it's like, even if they lose, they can look strong. But having them go over in a meaningless match that means nothing for him and his career, no. So I totally understand for him not wanting to work. I wish more people in New Japan would see the bigger picture and like, wait, why am I working this show if I'm losing every single year? None of our guys are winning. You're just putting yourself over. That's the problem with AEW, and it's like, why am I supposed to get invested in these characters if this is how they're being booked and I'm supposed to care about them? And it comes off as in a situation where it's like, if you don't care, then why should I?
Well said, man. Well said.
Well, you're all absolutely correct. And I do agree. I agree 100%. More so because it's a one-sided deal across the board. I mean, if we look at every agreement or deal partnership that AEW has had with a TNA, with the CMLL, with the New Japan, et cetera, there is a going constant, and you can all attest, because I can ask one question, and I'm pretty sure the answer will be the same. How many of those people from any of those other promotions have won an AEW championship?
Actively, while with their other promotions, I don't think none.
None. Zero.
Yeah, I don't think none.
Exactly.
So now, if we just run down the list, we've had in the beginning with TNA, when Kenny was collecting his belts, he won both titles in TNA. Granted, it was still a shared title, but he still won both of those titles in TNA. We still had the Ring of Honor championship that was won by somebody else, of course. We've had a number of people win the CMLL championship. We've had a number of people win championships across the board, but it never has been the other way around.
No.
We can even go to present right now. There are, if I believe correctly, 3 of AEW's current roster that have championships in New Japan. That's Will Ospreay and United Empire that has the 6-man titles. You have Konosuke Takeshita that has, I believe, the TV championship for New Japan.
I believe it's the TV championship, yeah.
And I believe it's Alex Windsor that has one of the women's championships in New Japan. So I can understand the aspect of saying, hey, well, you're getting your champions on AEW television. Well, it could work the other way around. You could have the champions in New Japan be on TV and AEW and actually winning matches, because most of the time, whenever you have those people that come over from New Japan, they're usually fed to some. Now, granted, you have some men that will win, but most of the women that come from New Japan usually end up losing to female talent on AEW. But yeah, if that's the case, this partnership does need to end, because New Japan is highly regarded in the professional wrestling realm, and AEW only drops its stock with this partnership because you're treating the competition like they're nothing more than jobbers, and that shouldn't be the case. they should be looked at just as credible, if not more, than the current roster that you have on AEW. Just based off of prestige alone. So that's how I look at it. And yeah, I do believe they need to just go ahead and just end the partnership. I believe that they should still allow, AEW's roster to go over and wrestle if they want to, but I don't think there needs to be a partnership with them actually doing shows together and promoting anything like that. New Japan is perfectly fine on its own. It doesn't need the partnership. It never really did. It was perfectly fine on its own to begin with. So just let it do what it does. And Tony, allow your wrestlers to wrestle wherever they want with an open contract and just do that.
Yeah, because I remember, like, what was it, a couple months ago? MJF was supposed to have a match with Nick Nemeth. I was looking forward to that. Then they canceled it because I guess AEW said, "Nah, we don't want to do that." Because I guess maybe they wanted Nick Nemeth to go over, and they was like, "Nah, you're not going to bury our champion and this, that, and the third." But it's like, that's exactly what you're doing in New Japan. You're literally burying them, and you're supposed to say, "Oh, we're in the business of working with others, helping out this other company," but you have them job out every single time. And it's like you said, when it comes to AEW and New Japan, a lot of times if an AEW wrestler wins a title from a New Japan person, it's a person that's already established, right? Look at back in the earlier days when you had Jon Moxley holding the IWGP US title and the IWGP World title. He lost it to people that were either AEW contracted talent that had some level of competition in New Japan. Like, they would work both shows, but mainly on AEW. It wasn't strictly somebody that was mainly in New Japan. So that's why I'm saying that's kind of killing your stock, because you're not really investing in anybody there, except you're mainly focusing on the talent that you already have.
Yeah.
Now,
case in point, though, freaking, you had a New Japan legend in Tomohiro Ishii. Like, say what you will about his AEW run, but dude is straight up New Japan, and he got nixed from this 12-man cage match.
Yep, like nothing.
I think he might make his way back to the match.
I hope so, man.
He about to get the LA Knight treatment. That's exactly what he's getting. He's getting the LA Knight treatment from Survivor Series.
Speaking of Forbidden Door, honestly, the only match outside of like the Owen stuff, but that makes sense for Forbidden Door, the only match that really makes sense is the Tekla versus Starlight Kid. That's the only match on this card that makes the most sense because of the fact of the history that it is. Which, I mean, of course, you can look at it and say that Tekla's going to go over because she has not beaten Starlight Kid, because she's lost both times over. I think it was over the past
I think it was like the last
4 years.
Cool.
Because I know they had their first match, I believe, was in 2022, either November or December. I forgot what show that was. That was the first time. And they had another match that I thought Tekla was going to go over in the second match that they had, but Starlight Kid went over on that one too, because that was a character change that Tekla had. So easily, this is a dub for Tekla, because they're not another person. They're not gonna let take the an AEW championship. So now, if it wasn't for the championship, I would probably say that Starlight Kid would go over. But in this instance, absolutely not.
Valid.
But it'll be a good match nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think it's gonna. I mean, it makes still the show.
Great matches, predictable outcomes. That's the theme of this show.
Oh, I like that. I do like that. Honestly, I think the match that takes the show, personally, I think it's going to be between Strickland and Ospreay, or Mox and Bandito.
All right. All right, here you go. The first time, October 12th of 2022. No, I'm sorry, December 10th of 2022.
Okay.
And September 2nd of 2023. So Starlight Kid is 2-0 against Tekla.
Yeah, she getting her win back here. There ain't no way they're gonna have her go 3-0 and lose the title. Absolutely not. They ain't doing that. They ain't taking a risk like that.
Nah. Oh, well, you know what? Hold that what you just said. Speaking of taking risks, so everybody's used to be favorite thing, King of the Ring they are taking mad risks because at Night of Champions, as of right now, Obafemi, who I don't know why they let that match between him and Dominic Mysterio last as long as it did, but Obafemi beat up both Dominic Mysterio and JD Madonna, and now he awaits the winner between Javon Evans and Jey Uso, which that match will go down Friday night on SmackDown. And Leo has some bars he wanted to get off about the potential winner of this King of the Ring tournament.
First off, I want to say with King Queen of the Ring this year. Have everybody noticed nobody except Charlotte won a match from SmackDown? Everybody that
Charlotte is the only
tournaments on Raw.
Yep.
That just shows how much they care about SmackDown.
Yeah,
they don't. First off, I do like the fact that they're taking risks this year, at least with having younger talent be featured and showcased throughout the tournament. We got Obafemi. I mean, let's be fair. We already knew he's probably going to the finals. Mysterio, I feel bad for you because I like you, Mysterio, but Obafemi, you was gonna get built the tail. You was getting built the tail, bro. Let's be fair about that. You stood no chance, bro. You had that Steiner math chance of winning. As far as this 44 that we seen on SmackDown, I could have made a case for anybody except you, Jey Uso. You remember back in 2015, I knew there was a saying that a lot of people used to say, and Bray Wyatt said it best, anyone but you. And he meant Roman Reigns. In 2026, we're not saying about that Roman Reigns. It's anybody but you, Jey Uso. Jey Uso,
now,
you say you about to win this tournament and go on to face Cody Rhodes.
Now, but hold on, Leo. Now, Jey Uso beat LaKnight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor to qualify for his. So just think about those names.
Yeah. And the person that was talking a whole bunch of trash about Jey Uso not only got put out the tournament, but he got pinned. You could have pinned anybody in this match, but you pinned LA Knight. You telling me?
Hold on. Quick pin. Dizzle, I'm gonna shoot it up to you. What are they doing with Louisiana Knight, man? What they doing?
He must have upset somebody backstage. He must have upset Triple H and said, I don't like this guy keep botching. And I think there was a report that went out and it was talking about what he feels about both LA Knight and Jey Uso. They feel like Jey Uso is more marketable, more coachable than LA Knight is. So they want to kind of push him a little bit more and not LA Knight. But LA Knight's more talented. He's better in the ring than Jey Uso. He has a better character than Jey Uso. Back when Jey Uso was unhinged and he was like the right-hand man, like in 2023, that was his peak for him. But started doing this whole yeeting thing. It's annoying. It was annoying watching it at the Royal Rumble. It was annoying watching it in the Elimination Chamber. Like every gimmick match that we were seeing, it felt tainted and disrespected because he's coming out there yeeting when we're supposed to try to take these matches serious. You did it at War Games even. Like, what are we doing? You're telling me a 40-year-old Jey Uso winning. First off, what irritated me the most is not even just him winning, it's how he did it. He literally hit a splash on both none other than Royce Keys and LA Knight. He didn't pin Royce Keys. He crawled over Royce Keys and went over to LA Knight and pinned him. If that doesn't tell you disrespectful, that I don't know what does. Yeah. So I'm hoping my twin tomorrow night, because that's what people call Javon Evans, my twin. I'm telling you, Javon, you're 22 years old, has on track to become the youngest to do it. I need you to do one mission. You say you was going to put belt to tail and yeet him out the tournament. I expect you to do that and then some. Go out there, take him out of the tournament, and we can get a really proper match between Obafemi, Javon Evans, running it back from NXT. Because let's be real, that's a better match, a better story than Jey Uso. Jey Uso is probably the Young Bucks of WWE. Just does nothing but super kicks the entire match. What moveset does he have? What moveset does he have? Besides doing a yeet, he's an entrance merchant. That's all he is. He's a catchphrase.
He has a spear. Okay, he has a spear.
A weak spear, bro. The weakest spear I have seen.
He has a splash. Okay, he has a splash.
I've seen Javon hit a better spear.
RVD.
anything Jey Uso, LA Knight can do better. Honestly, I know we don't bring this guy, but I really feel like Velveteen Dream was 10 times better than Jey Uso ever will be.
I mean, that's
I'm not
facts.
mad at that.
I mean,
that's
yeah,
facts.
bro. I mean, no one's disputing that. I will say that
Yeah,
LA
but
Knight's
you got
even
this-
older
oh,
than Jay. But
No,
yeah,
he
go
is.
ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and fix this for everybody. I can tell you exactly what's gonna happen over the next week,
Okay.
starting with SmackDown. But
Okay.
let me go ahead and fix the stuff with LaKnight real quick. LaKnight is probably in the best position that he can possibly be in. I'm gonna tell you why. Right now, he is the main person feuding with the top. I can't even call them a heel faction. The top tweener faction right now. That's the best spot he can be in right now because there's nobody else that's feuding with them like that. He's the only person that's outspoken against the bloodline within this whole story. He's the only adversary that they have. Now, with him losing, first starters, that match in the King of Ring, I hate this whole four-way dance bullshit for the King of Ring. It shouldn't be like that. However, that match with Balor, Keys, Jay, and LaKnight, fan-fucking-tastic. I enjoyed that.
Oh, it was a good match. Yeah.
It was a good match.
Now, it only made sense for Knight to be pinned because it furthers the story with him against the bloodline, which brings me to SmackDown. Jay's not winning that match. Based off of what happened on Monday, Knight's going to cost him that match. We are going to get Evans and Femi for King of the Ring. Evans is going to win King of the Ring.
Yeah, because Brock Lesnar going
Brock.
Oba keeps talking about Brock. It's like, and it was so
he
mean.
keeps talking about him.
And it's not even, it's the fact is when people are making their declaration for King of the Ring, it's like he's not really focusing on Roman Reigns, which that's the goal is to focus for the world championship. He literally said, and I quote, "My whole thing right now is the head of Brock Lesnar." That's the only thing he's carried about. That's his mission. So I think Brock is going to show up and we're going to set up Javon Evans because think about it. Knowing WWE in their logic, they like to say, oh, we check this out, the youngest person to do this. Imagine Javon Evans being the youngest person to win the King of the Ring because I think the youngest was Brock at 24. Javon Evans is 22. They would want to use that as a marketing strategy. And plus, it makes a storyline sense for him to pick Roman. Because if you're paying attention, Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch are mentoring Javon Evans. They both see him as a future main eventer of WrestleMania. This makes a proper storyline for not only a teacher versus student, because can Javon Evans beat the person that's been mentoring him? Can you make a big star out of Javon Evans by having to win King of the Ring and setting him up to go against Roman Reigns? And you can also build a true David versus Goliath storyline because can Javon Evans defy the odds by beating Roman Reigns? But not only that, can he get through the Roman Reigns by going through the bloodline to get there? Him facing Jey Uso is the first test to that. Can he face Jimmy Uso? Can he face none other than Jacob Fatu? And Jacob Fatu is also an X factor in all this because he can get involved because you know there's been a back and forth between Jey Uso and Jacob because Jacob says, I'm not telling you, I'm not going to do what y'all tell me to do. I'm only doing what Roman tells me to do. And we also seen on Raw where it looks like when it comes to Jacob, he's being more favored by Roman Reigns than Jey Uso was because if you remember a couple years ago, Roman Reigns told Jey Uso, you're the next tribal chief. But now, years later, he's looking at Jay and Jacob Fatu in higher regard than Jay. There's another story you can have there. And plus, you also got to think potentially Zilla Fatu is going to show up. He's showing up there at some point. And you can do Jacob Fatu and Zilla versus the Usos at some point. You can have a whole power struggle within the bloodline with Jacob because I think Jacob is ultimately going to turn on the bloodline ultimately. And it's going to lead to an ultimate story. And I think here's the thing. You said it right, Lip Dizzle. The thing is, LA Knight's going to get involved here. He's not going to let Jacob and everybody else get away with this. After what happened on Raw, you think he's going to let that slide? Absolutely not. He's going to come through and he's going to distract Jey Uso. Therefore, we get Oba Femi, Javon in the finals, and it makes sense because these two had one of the better feuds in NXT history outside like Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole and all those people, right? But it also serves as a purpose story because Javon Evans has always been the person that took Obafemi to the limit the absolute most, and it's always
Facts.
been on the cusp and the precipice of beating Obafemi, but always came up short. You can have the opportunity to shock the fans, and by having Obafemi lose to Javon Evans, and you build an even bigger star out of Javon, have him go to SummerSlam and potentially unseat Roman Reigns. You can do
And
that.
also, too, there's another fact here. Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia. Brock gonna get that free trip.
Well, yeah.
And that
But
money.
now,
Brock gonna get that anytime they go overseas. Brock gonna get that trip.
oh yeah, 100%. And here's the thing. Now, I will agree with what Leo's saying, but I think it's half and half. Javon's not going to run the gauntlet. They're not going to, especially Roman Reigns. He's not going to look at Javon as highly as that. He's not going to run the gauntlet like that because I'm pretty sure they're going to run the story of if Javon wins King of the Ring, it's going to be like, yeah, you're going to be okay. All right, cool. Yeah, whatever, young boy. That the gauntlet that's going to be run is for LaKnight. LaKnight's going to run the Bloodline gauntlet. He's going to have to because he was already attacked by Jacob. He was attacked by the Usos. That's going to happen because they've got to put him in a position to earn a championship with Roman because that's going to be the next person after Javon that gets a title shot at some point if it's nobody else because Oba's not going to get an immediate title shot right now. They're honestly, Oba's going to win Rumble. I believe that's going to be the case, and that's when they're going to give Oba the championship at Mania for next year. Let me hold up.
If they put it on them.
Not even that. I think because you got the speculation of everything that's going on with The Rock
and Rollins.
And that shit. So depending on how things go, we're gonna see what happens with both championships because you also have to think about the CM Punk factor. But aside from all that, when it comes to the King of the Ring, we're absolutely going to get a good finals between Javon and Obafemi based on everything that's happened in NXT with them and their feud because it makes the most sense. They're going to get a fire match and they're going to let that shit, they need to let it breathe. One, to make Javon look credible going up against Roman. And then two, to give Oba enough time to look weak once Brock comes into play to take him out.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, come SummerSlam, it'll make more sense for them, for Oba to go ahead and just retire Brock at SummerSlam and then move on from there. So, yeah.
And like you said,
that's the way I see it.
The story is, like you said, Javon could go to the SummerSlam to compete for the world title, but he might not win it. But I think the story they're gonna tell is like teacher for a student for sure, but it's also showing that this guy is not only the future of WWE, a future WrestleMania main eventer, but he's also showing to the fans that this guy can actually hang with the top stars. That's the story. It's him earning the respect of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm glad, and I'm glad you brought that shit up too, because that's where I was going with it, because I was thinking about that little backstage moment that they had where Javon was getting advice from Roman in Gorilla. That's the first thing I thought about when I was like, yep, that match is definitely gonna happen.
All right. Well, let's also check out the ladies' side of things. So on the women's side of things, we know we have Io Sky. She beat Raquel Rodriguez to make it to the finals. And then also on SmackDown, we have a match between Olivia Morgan and the Queen, Charlotte Flair. And this now, I have nothing against Liv Morgan, but the funny thing is she is already a champion, the champion, but she is in this Queen of the Ring, which I thought was just the funniest thing to me. But hey, Liv and Charlotte to see who takes on Io. No, it's gonna just be Liv and Rhea if she wins.
Yeah, it could be, because it kind of plays into the story where it's like that whole interaction they had right after Mania. It was like the night after, I believe, when Rhea was backstage and Liv said, "I'll see you around." So it's leading to something. I don't know if that's going to be at SummerSlam or Crown Jewel. Maybe they're saving this for maybe WrestleMania next year, because if you're looking about Saudi, especially for WrestleMania, Saudi fans, or at least the Saudi government has their favorites on who they want to be booked in the top matches, and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are, in regards to the two top stars right now. So you might do that. But when it comes down to this, I do agree, Liv being the world champion, and this match doesn't really make sense because you could have put somebody else in there that could have made a lot more sense. Where was your Jordan Grace in this? You could have put maybe a Maxine Dupree in this, right? But they didn't. So you could even have maybe some NXT representation if you really wanted to in this match as well. But therefore, we still have Io in the finals. I didn't really, no disrespect to Io, but I really thought the whole story of this entire tournament was going to be used to set up the downfall of the Judgment Day, because Roxanne might be pulling strings, and then Liv is pretty much downplaying the chance of Raquel even winning. Imagine you had Liv and Raquel in the finals, and Roxanne had all this be set up to turn on Liv and sign with Raquel. Raquel beats Liv. Now we going on to SummerSlam and having those two for the title, but now that's no longer right now, it's no longer in the works right now. But
yeah,
you also got to think, Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair is a big money match that we're getting on free television. The last time we seen those two face each other was back in 2020. It's been 6 years since we've seen these two face each other, and the whole thing right now is Liv Morgan first, I think, is probably going to win this. First off, because she's on the poster for Night of Champions. I don't see what else she's going to be doing at Night of Champions if she's not competing in the finals. Second off, the reason why I think she's going to win is because, if you want to be honest, from their history, it's Charlotte has beaten Liv every single time. This will be the perfect time for Liv to finally get a win over Charlotte. By hook or by crook, she's winning that match, and she's going to face Io in Saudi.
I mean, that makes the most sense. Because I mean, that makes the most sense at this point.
My only issue with this whole thing, and correct me if I am wrong, but they had an easy start to this if they would have just let Liv play Liv and just insert herself as champion storyline basis instead of just inserting her on their own. If they would have built a story around it being like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but hey, I want to see if I can get more gold, or I'm just going to maneuver my way into this regardless.
I see what the issue is. You be thinking WWE be thinking too far ahead.
No. If she would have been like the type of character, like how Edge was, where he was always inserting himself and stuff, even though we knew in like for being logical, why is he even in this? Remember the time where remember the times he would insert himself in Money in the Banks and winning the Money in the Bank when he wasn't supposed to win off Mr. Kennedy, inserting himself in the Elimination Chamber, ended up winning. You could have had her as a heel, being an ultimate opportunist, and say, hey, she takes somebody out. She's like, hey, I took her out because I want to be double champ. I want two titles on my shoulders. And you could have done that story. Just let her be an opportunist, because it fits into her character, and people are already pissed that she's in it. So why not add more fuel to the fire by having her be an opportunist?
Now, what's funny is that as soon as you said logical, Scooter immediately popped in my head. It was like, see?
I mean, this doesn't silence my theory that they could possibly be unifying the belts here.
Oh, no, that's not
the only thing that they need to be unified is the tag division.
Shit. Absolutely.
At this point, they need to with that.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty, bro! I forgot who the tag team champions were on SmackDown. I forgot.
Damian Priest and R-Truth.
Oh shit, they are still.
And speaking of Damian Priest and R-Truth is taking on Tama Tonga and Talatonga for the titles.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won, bro. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they won that. Because they ain't got
I'd like to see Tama Tonga with some gold, so I'm not mad at it if they do.
And also, what's going down, and the way they make it sound, this is going to probably start the show, and it's supposed to be commercial free.
Yeah, that's because you got to
have Gunther the Undisputed Championship, and then Gunther chose the stipulation, and he chose for Sami Zayn to be the special guest referee.
Oh, brother. So, I already know what Gunther's gonna do.
Justice for Sammy.
Yeah.
Justice for Sammy. This is probably gonna lead into like a triple threat. Cause I could see it the clear silver lining here. It's gonna lead to like a triple threat. I could see even Sammy winning it in Saudi, because it probably would make sense. Gunther is gonna come out of SmackDown and say, "Cody, I need a rematch, Cody." That's exactly what he's gonna be saying the very next week. He said, "Cody, you let Sammy screw me over and lose the championship." That's exactly what he's going to be coming out and doing. Because I already see it clear as day. They're going to have Sammy win the WWE Championship. Even if it's for like a month or two, he's winning. I don't know what Gunther's doing in this. I feel like, honestly, depending on what SummerSlam shapes up to be, I could see Gunther going after the U.S. title against Trick Williams at SummerSlam, to be fair. I honestly think that might be what they might be doing.
Not the U.S. title. How far from Graves can the Legend Killer do it?
Speaking of, where the fuck is Randall?
Sideline. Like the Usos said, WrestleMania, sideline. WrestleMania 28, sideline. SummerSlam for Randy Orton, sideline.
You know, when I saw this shit,
Randall.
when I saw the advertisement for this damn match, the first thing that popped in my fucking head was, oh, so y'all can do ad-free shit.
They don't want to.
Right.
We looking at you, WrestleMania 42.
Right?
Commercial Mania 42, more like it. Man,
No, it wasn't. No. I didn't even look at this as WrestleMania. It was ad mania. Because there was more ads than wrestling.
Crazy. It had the nerve to be commercial free. The fuck out of here.
Get out of here with that, bro.
Granted, they do a picture-in-picture.
What? They about to do
With
picture-in-picture. We'll be back to you because we are going to be picture-in-picture. Don't go anywhere.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
can we please bring back picture-in-picture?
Now, can
Like-
we bring back blood in WWE, please? Can we bring back blood in edgy television?
I mean, yes,
But
they can.
For the most part,
I know some people look back on certain eras of
I really
WWE in
can.
bad high
They
regard. But look, I get it. We got advertisements and we got to do this and a third to appease them. But can we at least work in guidelines and at least be able to have an edgier product? You know, back when we had, the Edge Elite celebration, couldn't we have done that at least with Liv and Dom when they were being hated by everybody?
I'm just gonna go
After-
ahead and
after-
let you know
after
the last type of thing that we saw something like that was, I believe, wasn't it Rusev and Lana?
Oh, no. No, we talking about edgy. Like, we in the ring.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there was
remember-
a whole cuck
no.
session.
Remember Samoa Joe showing up to none other than AJ's house. We seen with Rollins showing up to Edge's house and stuff like that. Why can't we see people do things like that? Why?
Because AEW's got that shit locked.
I don't care. Still do it. Then they did it with Drew and Cody. They did it with Drew and Cody, so there's no excuse. Cody showed up to Drew's house, beat him on his own front lawn. You're telling me we can't see Gunther do that? You're telling me we can't see Randy, try to flirt with Cody's wife or something? We see how he felt how he was back in the day when he was punk kicking people. Why? Why we can't go back to the days of just
Because
television?
TKO is trying to run WWE into the ground so they can sell
TKO
shit.
is $3 billion in debt. That's exactly what's going on. They're trying to
Yeah, they're
squeeze
gonna sell off WWE. Yes.
At this rate, you should have just kept WWE by itself. Because I keep telling people, is the product entertaining right now? No. There's still some high points about it. Let's not get twisted. Let's be fair. If WWE didn't have TKO attached to it, WWE would probably be 10 times better than it is right now. Because if you look at how WWE was being portrayed in 2022 to 2024, peak. Soon as TKO gets involved, nah. Let's turn him heel. No story, no follow-up. Let's have this celebrity get involved in the main event. Let's have Travis Scott come down here. Let's do this, that, and a third.
And then disappear.
No follow-up. None. for the main
Because
event of
they
WrestleMania.
keep thinking wrestling fans have a fucking TikTok memory.
Then ticket prices. Oh my god, an arm and a leg to go to Raw or SmackDown. Are we serious with ourselves? You telling me I gotta? What was it? Ticket price was like 15,000 at WrestleMania this year.
That's
Who do you
why
think I am?
Lip,
Who do you think I
that's
am?
why Lip, Scoot, and myself looked at each other for that NXT show that came through recently, and we were like, "Nah."
Pretty much.
They said you better Klarna that shit.
Pretty much.
They want you to put on the payment plan.
I am never gonna pay in full for a wrestling show. Not even if it was a WrestleMania. I'm sorry, but no. Thank
People
you.
messing up their credit going to these shows, and people ain't even thinking about, oh, not only going to the show, I gotta pay for my flight, gotta pay for my hotel, memorabilia, go and get food.
Ticket price the same as the whole trip there.
At this rate, if I'm going to WrestleMania, I'm not going to WrestleMania. I'm just gonna go to the indie shows surrounding WrestleMania and meeting wrestlers and getting memorabilia.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Insanity. WWE's really throwing the whole everything but the kitchen and maybe even the kitchen sink at AEW though, just to like fuck up one weekend.
Bro, 4 shows in one weekend, bro. You got Slammiversary, Night of Champions, Great American Bash, and Forbidden Door. All in one weekend. This is giving me PTSD from last year from All In, because I remember that day I had streamed for 7+ hours. 7+ hours for All In and Saturday Night Main Event. Bro,
Yeah, that was crazy.
that ain't it. That ain't it. And the crazy thing is how expensive these shows are. But I remember watching Royal Rumble. I looked at ticket prices for Royal Rumble. The most expensive ticket, and it was front row for $500. $500 to sit front row in Saudi Arabia. But you can't do that in the States. You make us pay almost a $2,000 to sit front row. Like, nah, bro. Nah. I got rent to pay. I can't do that.
Most expensive ticket was at AEW when I bought the ticket for the show last night. Dude, I didn't even pay shit. I think I only paid like $50, $60. And I was on like the bottom section, like right before the people that were all up in front row area.
Yeah, you pay front row for them. It's like 120, which is not bad.
Even then, it's affordable.
Because look at All In. People were sitting like front row for like 300 at the most. That's not bad compared to paying 2,000 or 5,000 on a B-level pay-per-view. Like, why am I not doing that? Especially when you have matches that are not advertising or appetizing for me. Like, why am I going to sit through this B-level match when there's no risk involved? Nothing to really get excited for. You think I'm going to pay $5,000 for a show that's not going to meet my expectations? I can sit at home, watch it free, complain in peace. There you go.
Yeah, 100%. Meanwhile, AEW just keeps on giving you pay-per-view level matches for free on TV.
Lack of story, though. With lack of story, some have story, but lack of story for the easier said than done. Let's be fair.
You know, the way I look at it is, I'm gonna say in defense of AEW. Even if the story is not there, I will say for the price of admission that you get, you still end up getting a good match. So I can give them that without the story. However, as far as from a promotional standpoint, that's definitely going to be needed when it comes to like the big pay-per-views, because you want to know why, especially when it comes to an all in, all out, something like that. You want to make sure that everything is all encompassing, because again, that's your WrestleMania level pay-per-views for that promotion. So you want everything to be all right, because of course you're going to end up paying more for that, especially at somewhere like Wembley. But WWE, shit, you getting piss poor shit all around. So no matter what you pay for.
Well, at least the only difference is at least the shows are short. You're only sitting there for like 2 hours and some change. Yeah. But AEW, granted, we get some good wrestling, but like I said, lack of storytelling. I'm not trying to sit a whole 8 hours just for 12 matches. when half of them
stumbling
should
out
be on
that
the
bitch drunk.
pre-show.
I mean,
Half
you
the
get
matches
your,
be
you
on
get
the
a whole
pay-per-view
mouthful of wrestling that night.
By the time
Pause.
I leave AEW, I said,
Pause.
you know what? I need to take a week off because this ain't it. I ain't trying to spend no 8 hours watching some good wrestling and be tired.
Yeah, you definitely going in for a work shift.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
it did not only that, but then like just thinking about it, you sit there for 8 hours and then it's like, fuck, I gotta leave. It means I gotta fight everybody in this traffic all the way home. Fuck.
And then if I fall asleep during the show, then people gonna be mad because they be like, well, why are you at the show for? They say you supposed to do that with WWE, not AEW. In my defense, I can do what I want. I paid for this show. I can do what I want.
Big facts.
If I want to throw a beach ball, I can do what I want. I paid for the show. Even though
Careful
I
with those beach balls, man. They kick people out for those.
Claudia
know
might
what,
have a different story.
Yeah. But still, I'm not trying to sit no 8 hours for that. I might go to like a Dynamite or a Collision, but a pay-per-view with 8 matches when half of them should be on the pre-show, to be fair. Nah, I'm good. I'll pass. I'll pass. I'll pass.
Big truth.
My only counter to that is Double or Nothing did show out.
Yeah, Double Nothing was good though. Yeah, but for Vendor,
As of right now, that lineup, nah. It's it wouldn't be worth the 8 hours. It would not be worth the 8 hours.
Like I tell myself every day, I say I'm luckily enough I don't have a girlfriend right now, because if she sees me go to an AEW show and see me sitting up there for 8 hours and I don't come back home until 2:00 in the morning, we finna have an issue. Cause she gonna be like, now, where you been at?
Nah, you were at that show for 8 hours.
I'm probably gonna be on suspension after that. She probably gonna put me in the slammer in the doghouse like Dominic be at. I don't want that. Cause she gonna be looking at me like, come back after 6 or 7 hours. Nah. She gonna think, even though I went to the show, even though I might have proof that I went to the show, she automatically gonna think
You could be FaceTiming the whole time. Look.
She said, nah, you was doing something else, weren't you? That's exactly what she gonna think.
That's funny.
Crazy. But yeah.
Sanity.
What else we got on the docket?
I mean, it's about that time for the thing we love to do best, and let's get it off our chest. So Dizzle, you got anything to get off your chest this week in the world of professional wrestling?
Nah, man. Actually, no. I got quite the opposite, to be perfectly honest.
Put it on your chest?
Yeah, gotta put it on my chest. Nah, I didn't see what was going on with the vision. I mean, not the vision. With the bloodline, with this whole Jacob thing until Monday. Then it clicked. See that smile on Roman's face? Because I can see they're doing the long term. Now, do I like this whole thing with the bloodline? Nah, because the shit's played out. But I'm only saying this in the event that this actually does turn out the way I think it's going to turn out. But if it doesn't, then then fuck this dog water bullshit. But with the way it's going down, with the way that I see it, because of how they talked about Jacob in the very beginning when Solo was trying to bring him in, and they were like, hey, no, he's unhinged, we can't control him, don't bring him in. Right now, with the way Roman has Jacob, he's able to have him under some level of control, where now he's got him under his thumb. He's able to make Jacob do whatever he wants. He now has tamed what was then called the untamable, for lack of a better term. So if this is a way to build up Jacob to more of a main event status superstar, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
However, there needs to be a very fine timeline with this. Like, you can't drag this shit out for more than, I want to say 6 months, but even that might be pushing it. because you can only do so much with this whole thing with Roman doing the same thing every fucking week.
I agree.
And
I agree.
you can only have Jay getting mad in the way that he's getting mad so many times. This is rinse and repeat for Jay. Jay does this shit like
because literally Jay Uso is gonna turn to why I order and it's be like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about how this shit's been. You had the shit with Sami Zayn, where he was getting mad about that shit.
Yep.
Then after he went to Raw on his own and had the whole thing going on there, he had the shit where people were doubting him with the whole Gunther shit, and then he would get mad. Then after War Games with Punk, you had the shit where it seemed like he was about to turn heel, and he was having that same Mad Jay shit again. And then now you've had the shit happen, 2 or 3 times between then and now with different situations. So Jay getting mad is now is about as played out as the Bloodline with a faster track at this point. So it's like you either turn Jay heel, have him go by himself, or do something, because you can't have him do the whole yeet bullshit and be like, yeah, I'm doing it for the fans, without there being some type of payoff, because you're going to get the same reaction that Sami Zayn has been getting for the past few months with his shit. But at least they're doing something with Sami Zayn at this point. So if you don't do the same thing with Jay, they're going to be like, hey, get the fuck off the TV, man. Get the fuck off the TV.
Unfortunately.
So
Just crashing out stuff ain't really doing it for me, to be fair. Like, we've seen it so many times. The Bloodline storyline to me is literally them rerunning it back. It's almost like the toxic ex that you just can't get rid of. They just keep coming back for more and more and more because they can't have enough. They don't know, ain't had enough yet. Like, that's literally what it is. And Jey Uso losing also could play into the narrative that, oh yeah, Roman definitely is going to favor Jacob a lot more than Jay now, because now he's starting to see Jey Uso can't really get it done. He can't rely on Jey Uso anymore. That's going to feed into like the narrative, especially with the split and power struggle within the Bloodline. By having him lose, you can also have LA Knight get involved here, like we said earlier, that plays into the story as well. So there are some things that are working against it, and plus like the butting heads between Jacob and Jay, you also got to bring that up. But I'm not really invested right now. That's why I think Javon should win. And the first thing I need Javon to do is do like how the Pip name Slickback does to every person that's a female in the Boondocks. He gets his Pip hand and make it strong and swing. That's exactly what he needs to do when he sees Jey Uso. No talking, just swing.
Just start swinging, just tee it off.
Put belt to tail, get him out. Pack him up. Get him out. Get him gone.
Well, with that being said, Leo, you got anything you want to get off your chest this week that you haven't?
Besides none other than Jey Uso being somewhere he doesn't belong in the King of the Ring, because I don't want to see a King Jay, bro. King Jay, get out. I'd rather see a King Javon, or how he likes to personally say what it should be, King Vaughn. If we get King Vaughn is a WWE King of the Ring,
that would be wild.
And it's not even me saying it. He said it, not me. He literally said on a post that he put up, he said King Javon, but he said, I also think, he says King Vaughn got a ring to it. And he had a King Vaughn song playing. Crazy story, mind you. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy story when Jey Uso gets put out by the young OG. It's going to be a crazy story when he got to answer to his daddy, Roman Reigns.
Not his daddy.
Because he was down and say, no, I don't want none.
Jaeger, you got anything to get off your chest?
This week of wrestling, the only thing I got to really get off is that I'm a little disappointed in my Houston fans for AEW. Again, I'll give the potential excuse that like it was just the arena. I didn't get to hear it because I was down there on the ground, and noise travels out. But yeah, man, it just felt like it almost felt like a New Japan show, but in a bad way. Like the crowd was clapping and supporting when the big moves happened, but I will say the most animated that I got fans, or that I saw fans, was the Collision match, which, hey, I'm jumping into the future a little bit, but the first Collision match, and the only one that I did watch, because shit, like we already said, I don't really want to sit through the traffic once the whole show's over. It was the Young Bucks going up against Zack Sabre Jr.'s guys.
TMDK.
Thank you, TMDK. And the only reason the crowd was as animated as they were is because you had Nick Jackson going like, "Hey, come on," and throwing the clap, starting up that whole thing where he picks up and everything else. Nick Jackson did that about 3 or 4 times before that match was over. I was disappointed for as an AEW fan, like, damn, people were really not like, there's really not people chanting Young Bucks or TMDK one way or the other. Like, people were, anytime there was a pop-worthy move done, it was like, or like some woo or some shit like that. But aside from that, not too much noise.
It wasn't a lot of noise, and I was watching at home, and I'm just like, for a Houston crowd, we're supposed to be like a goated wrestling city, and it didn't feel like the energy was there. It was like moments, like you said, especially like watching, Dynamite last night. I haven't really watched Collision. I'll probably watch Collision when it comes out on Saturday, but the only thing that really just got me in tune was literally the Swerve and Will Ospreay stuff. That's it. And then maybe like John Moxley and Bandito stuff, but that's it. The 12-man tag, it literally upset me because, like, why are we giving this away when we're supposed to be building this match for a pay-per-view? Now going into the pay-per-view, it's literally showing to me, why should I even care about this match? Because now I know it's going to happen. The babyface are going to win. The heels just won on Dynamite. Like, what are we doing?
The sad part is I didn't even get to hear Swerve's like full thing because there was a drunk woman screaming at, like, after about 2 minutes. No, I shouldn't say 2 minutes, but after about a minute and a half of Swerve talking, this woman's like, "Why are y'all talking? Fight already!" And then she just keeps screaming, "Fight! Fight! Fight! Fight!" I'm like, man, please sit your drunk ass down and let me listen to this feud build. Like, what the fuck?
You see, one thing about me, everybody knows I hate Logan Paul. But there was one thing that he said in a line in a promo.
Oh, birds of a feather, sir.
There was one thing he said in a promo that I actually would say when you bring up that situation and a drunk woman. Logan Paul said, and I quote, "If you're drunk, go home. Get a pint, go home. Don't come back. Walk up the stairs, don't fall, take a sobriety test, because you probably failed. Go home."
I'll give that too.
This is one thing I will say. I'm not saying people, and that's something that's been a really big thing with wrestling fans, is like, I'm not saying you can't have fun and get a little lit or whatever, but it comes to an issue where it's like people are drinking but cannot control the liquor, and you just mainly make it a bad experience for other people when you can be just making, like, you're just doing stuff for no reason. You're starting arguments with other fans. You're getting in a fight with other fans. You're saying things. You're trying to jump over barricades. Like, what are you doing? Knowing you're going to get banned for life, but still do it because you can't control your liquor. And it's like, if you can't control your liquor, don't be going anywhere. Just stay home.
Absolutely.
Don't drive when you're doing stuff like this, because you're only making it things worse for yourself.
Oh no, she had a DD. She clearly had a DD because dude was looking at her like, "Babe, just chill out."
You see, I might be rude, but I'll give some backlash. But I'm leaving. Catch your own Uber back home. I want nothing to do with it.
Out. And well, with that being said, it's not necessarily company related, it's more tag related. There's a gentleman that has something that belongs to me, and I think it's about time I get it back. There are
that guy.
Well, we're not going to count Slammiversary. So there are 3 shows happening next weekend with AEW Night of Champions and Great American Bash. Lip Dizzle, pick 2 of them because I want my goddamn championship back.
First off,
I'm doing it all.
All 3?
I'm coming for the gold.
Yeah.
I'm coming for the gold.
Oh, you coming for me?
I'm coming for the gold. I'm coming to take
I mean, technically,
what's mine.
Leo is the number
what's
one
his?
contender. Leo actually is number one contender for the
He
tag
is.
prediction. So
So we doing all 3 shows, Lip Dizzle?
I'm down. I'm down.
Let's go. I want what's mine.
Mr. Leo, I'll be nice. I'll let you pick. You want to do all 3 as well? Or you want to pick 2? Pick 1?
All 3. And it doesn't matter
All
if
right.
it's 1, 2, 3. All that you need to know is will be H-Town down, and I will become champion.
Oh, I mean, I'm in H-Town, bro. I'm already here. I'm already representing.
Down, you're going down. I will rise to the top and become champion. You know it.
Let's
Y'all on
see.
different sides of y'all on different sides of Houston.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
But I want what's mine.
No.
And with that being said, this episode of TMI is officially over. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the ball to Lip Dizzle and let him do that thing that he do oh so well.
Of course, you beautiful people. All right. So you already know what it is. Whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, questions, concerns down below. Leave your congratulations and your good luck comments down for myself, Leo, Scoot, as well as Jaeger. And you already know, make sure that you tag the subscribe button, tag the like button, tag notification bell so you get updated on anything that we drop on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. Make sure that you are also checking out Juggs' channel and Leo's channel as well. Make sure you check out everything they got going on, everything they're dropping, all the live streams that they do on a monthly, weekly basis. Thank you, Loki, for co-signing that. But as I go ahead and warm up the wool for the boys and all of you watching at home, whether it be on the TV, the computer screen, your phone, whatever it is, with a good old Too Sweet for the boys, with a good old bada 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 bam bam. And of course, until you see these handsome faces and hear these immaculate voices, we bid you all adieu. And until next time, you beautiful, 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 beautiful mother effers. Tag the fucketh. Click, click. Out.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane to make them same mistakes again. So I'm switching lane to lane. Pray to curve.